Yo, what is up? My name is Awesome Guy for 1000. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to click on this video. Today I want to talk about Chapter 7 and how maybe in 2026 we could still possibly see a Chapter 3 OG season. If they even want to call it OG, they probably won't. They'll probably do something else like they did for Remix, because Chapter 3 I don't really think anyone would consider OG, even though I think I would kind of make an argument that Chapter 3 is kind of OG, not in their terms of actual time of you playing the game, but just in the feeling of Fortnite, in my opinion, Chapter 3 was kind of the last chapter to actually have a semi-old Fortnite feel, you know what I mean? The main storyline ended, the graphics got a whole new overhaul, changed all the props, all the nature stuff. Before we get into that though, I just want to say to you guys, I have nearly only a week left to get 1,000 subscribers, so if you're watching this and you're not subscribed, I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers before Season 5 OG comes out, because if the red cube comes back, or if any cube just comes back in general, I want to be able to get into a private game so I can just watch it without having to worry about Storm or people trying to kill me. That's what I used to do back in the day with Kevin in Season 5 in Playground mode, but they took Playground mode out of the game, so the only way to do that now is to get a custom game, which you can only get with a supported creator code, and Epic will only give you that if you have 1,000 subscribers. So please guys, if you want to help me relive my childhood, please press the subscribe button. It would be highly appreciated. Thank you. Now let's hop into this, because I did make a video about Chapter 3 OG being potentially a season in the future in a video a couple months back, but then obviously it was confirmed that we were getting the mini seasons for Chapter 6, obviously the Star Wars Galactic Battle, and then apparently at the end of next season, Season 4, we're going to be getting a Simpsons themed season, which I'm not even sure how Fortnite will do that. If it's going to be anything like Galactic Battle, they're going to have to vault their whole loot pool and replace it with something that would be Simpsons, but I don't really know what that would be. I don't know what the map changes would be. The only thing I'm thinking about is maybe leakers just misinterpreted it as being a season, and maybe there'll be another mini season that we don't know about. Maybe the Simpsons thing will be more of a reload oriented mode, or who knows, maybe they could somehow incorporate it with Blitz now, since that's a very popular mode that I don't think is leaving. But basically, yeah, for the first time in what seems like since Chapter 4, Fortnite is not going to do a chapter season return to transition into a new chapter. It's seeming like we're just going to go straight from this Simpsons season, if that's what it's going to be, right into Chapter 7. And my biggest takeaway from the mini seasons is that the community generally doesn't like the idea of mini seasons, especially with the current themes we got going now. Star Wars actually saw record low numbers, even worse than Wrecked, if you guys remember how badly Wrecked performed. People did not like the Star Wars season. Obviously it had a lot of loyal fans that were there. Me personally, I was not looking forward to it at all, but then I actually got in the game, played a little bit. It was not as bad as I thought it would be. I actually have a whole video talking about it. But in that moment of time, I was going through kind of a space phase. I was the space was very interesting to me, so I kind of found enjoyment in just that with the spaceships and stuff. But generally I want a more unique, original season, and the Simpsons season is just something I'm absolutely not looking forward to at all. So basically what kind of narrows it down, if there's going to be a Chapter 3 return season, kind of like OG or Remix, it's going to depend on if Epic still wants to continue the mini seasons. And just me personally, I think it would be in Epic's best interest to just discontinue them. I mean, we still got the Simpsons season to go through, and they probably already made their roadmap for Chapter 7, let's be honest. But maybe if the community doesn't like the Simpsons season, like the same they didn't like the Star Wars season, the Galactic Battle season, maybe Epic will just decide to scrap that completely and make a new roadmap. Maybe even in the future in Chapter 8, they'll discontinue them when they have the ability to make a new roadmap, because we know Epic, they don't just throw away their roadmaps. Their whole Chapter 5 roadmap got leaked and they kept going with it, Epic, when they put something into fruition, are very stubborn. In Chapter 5, they just kept adding non-hit scan weapons. They wouldn't take it away. Obviously the whole movement animations thing was a very big deal. But if we get to that point next year in December or maybe November, if Epic does want to bring back Chapter 3, it would make more sense to bring it back then than it would in 2025, because obviously the chapter would be older. I think at that point Chapter 3 would be about, I think it would actually be nearing 5 years old, and that is a pretty significant amount of time to be devoid of a complete chapter of Fortnite. In my opinion, I just think they should do at least the first 3 chapters of Fortnite, the earliest chapters. Chapter 4 and 5 could maybe be done later down the road, and maybe especially Chapter 4. I don't see Epic ever bringing back Chapter 5 as a return season. It just doesn't seem like a thing they would do. Maybe they'll do a reload map or something and make a reload season out of it or something, but definitely not in Battle Royale, I don't think, ever again. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down below. Would you like to see a Chapter 3 OG return season? I definitely would. I think Chapter 3 is a very overlooked, underrated chapter in Fortnite. It had a lot of unique stuff. It had the weather, had the combos. In my opinion, a very good loot pool and just, you know, overall flow of the game. Storyline was like at its peak at this moment. You know, everyone talks about the chapter 2 season 7 to chapter 3 season 2 storyline and how that was like the peak of the storyline, and maybe just Fortnite in general. I just think, you know, it'd be really fun to live back through chapter 3 season 1 and even season 2 and 3 and even 4. You know, I think they were all good seasons that had like something about them that could just be enjoyed. I don't think any season in chapter 3 were like really like hated. You know, there were some mid seasons, like of course people think Vibin is mid, which I will fight against that opinion until the day I die, bro. I loved Vibin. It's one of my favorite seasons of Fortnite. But yeah, guys, we know how much the Fortnite community loves chapter 3 season 1, and I just don't see why Epic would not pass up an opportunity to bring that back to the fans. I think it'd be very easy to do. You know, they just bring back the old map, plop it down, old loot pool, everything. Obviously, we'll still have all like the new animations and whatever, but it would be close enough, you know, it'd be great. And who knows, maybe they could do some kind of twist with it like they did with Remix. I mentioned it in my last video. Maybe it could be like a gaming legends or maybe like a movie legends season. I don't know. Let me hear your guys' opinions on it down below. And yeah, man, that's all I gotta say. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I would really appreciate it. And yeah, enjoy the rest of the gameplay.